Hello everyone, my name is Jack Giosso.
Burch.
Tanner Layton.
And Dunkle.
And we are Law and Order. Thank you so much for the opportunity to participate in this competition, and I really hope you enjoy our recommendations. After speaking with our mentor Bob Morris, he alluded to the fact that LandCare is different from its previous business model as TrueGreen. You all are looking to be a more holistic company, and in this case, we recommend that you all implement Kaizen training and culture into your company. So, what is Kaizen? It's actually a philosophy that comes from Japan, meaning positive change. It's used to increase productivity, effectiveness, safety, and waste reduction. Many companies across the country have implemented this philosophy to create meaningful change, like Lockheed Martin, Ford, Nestle, and Toyota. But what does Kaizen actually do? It enables employees to be more satisfied because they have a direct impact on the way the company is run. There is improved employee commitment since employees have a large stake in their job and are more inclined to perform at a high level. These both lead to improved retention, as employees that are satisfied and engaged with their jobs have a higher likelihood of staying. There's also improved competitiveness, as employees are more likely to increase their productivity, contributing to lower costs and higher quality products. There's also improved problem solving, as companies that are able to look at processes from a solutions perspective allow employees to solve problems as they appear. And lastly, there's improved teamwork, enabling employees to work with one another to solve issues to help build camaraderie and strengthen existing relationships. So how should you actually implement Kaizen? A great way to do this is by having teams create idea logs of inefficiencies that can be improved. More oftentimes than not, it's easier to spot these in the moment rather than during a period of reflection. Then, once a month, spend time identifying these areas of waste and workshop different ways the inefficiencies can actually be improved. Finally, plan out the way that changes are actually being made and when they're actually being implemented.
Our second recommendation is direct job site reporting. As it stands now, the entire 3-person crew reports to the LandCare branch at 6:30 in the morning and loads up the truck before heading to the first job site. The crew services all 3 sites before returning to LandCare together at the end of the day and then heads home. With our recommendation, only the supervisor would report to LandCare in the morning, load up the truck, and meet the other 2 members at the site. They would drive there from their homes in their own cars. They would then travel between sites in the crew truck with the supervisor, who would return them to their cars at the end of the day so they can head home. Our reasoning for suggesting this policy is that when analyzing the case study, a large portion of workers' time is spent driving, 18% of their 8-hour workday. Then when you account for an average 62-minute round-trip commute for workers in LA County, employees are spending upwards of 2.5 hours a day driving. By cutting that time, crew members will likely be happier and more productive. Here we have a breakdown of the cost savings of implementing direct job site reporting. As you can see, total annual travel time is cut by almost 60%, and when factoring in the 1978 average blended hourly rate, LandCare is able to realize a $2,469 cost savings. Here we can see those costs when applied to the 3 contracts in the case. Under this new policy, LandCare is able to realize a 6.6% decrease in labor and burden costs, which translates to an 8.1% increase in gross margin excluding materials. Another thing to think about is that Dunkle mentioned an important part of LandCare's culture is the morning exercises conducted branch-wide to prepare crews for the day's work. These exercises would now be conducted at the first job site by the supervisor, which would limit branch-wide camaraderie but likely enhance crew relationships. And to avoid any negative perceptions by crews when applying these recommendations, we also suggest implementing a mileage reimbursement policy for those whose commutes get longer. So for example, a crew member who normally drives 15 miles to LandCare now drives 25 miles to the first job site. Those extra 10 miles would be reimbursable at the standard IRS rate.
LandCare's greatest asset rests in its employees and makes up the lion's share of costs. The truth is that higher salaries tend to incentivize a culture of high output. When people perceive that they're getting paid more than their counterparts at other companies, it often compels them to expend extra effort. They will work hard to demonstrate that they deserve that money. Highly compensated employees in a high output environment may be happier with their job, especially if they enjoy the work. In turn, they may want to recruit their high-skilled friends and those in their network to join your team. There are only so many people with the necessary skills to excel at LandCare. One of the most efficient ways to attract these people is through higher pay. Offering an above-average salary will help lure individuals who can significantly impact LandCare's bottom line. A well-compensated and engaging culture will make employees more likely to stay in their jobs long term. The longer someone is at your company, the better they will understand the systems, norms, and mission. That can make them more efficient as well as create stronger teams. LandCare will also spend less time and money looking for new hires and interviewing. The recruitment process can be costly, so avoiding it as much as possible can be a positive thing. The turnover rate refers to the percentage of employees leaving a company within a certain period of time. Here we see a survey by Adecco that found that 50% of turnover occurs within the first 45 days of a new hire. Whether or not the employee leaves or are fired, the training and onboarding costs are deemed a lost expense. For the landscaping sector, the cost of turnover represents, on average, 21.4% of an employee's salary on a replacement. This burden is made up of lost productivity, the cost of hiring and training a replacement, and minimal productivity until the new hire gets up to speed in their new job. If the total turnover cost for LandCare is at nationwide standard, the burden represents a cost of $6,899 per employee. Employees that voluntarily leave a position often cite their reasoning as accepting a better paying job or being dissatisfied with their position. The recommendation proposed is that LandCare raises wages by $1 per hour. Over time, increased wages will improve company culture and happiness while saving money. Employee benefits should remain the same as LandCare's current benefit package will suffice. To keep up with inflation, wages should be increased yearly.
Our fourth recommendation is investing in battery-powered equipment. It's important to ask the question initially, why consider making this change in the first place? Well, first, battery-powered equipment does not require gasoline, so there's cost savings there. Second, gas equipment is incredibly noisy. Hotel guests and apartment renters will no longer be distracted by your operations when your crew is using quiet, battery-powered equipment. Third, the public sees gas equipment in a negative light due to the noise and the emissions they give off. And lastly, you can get ahead of potential future regulations banning the equipment, which is what has happened in many towns in recent years. Now we have to determine if it's feasible to make this investment. To determine this, we're going to examine what the equipment will cost up front, any ongoing maintenance costs, and consider the quality of the equipment. Initial costs. For the investment, we decided on a push lawnmower and blower from a company called Ego. Buying the equipment from the same company allows the crew to interchange the same batteries between machines. The 56-volt blower with the battery and charger included will cost $399. The 21-inch 56-volt self-propelled push lawnmower with 2 batteries and a charger included will cost $749. And an extra battery that works for both machines will cost $349. The total investment is $1,617 after tax. Ongoing maintenance costs. The batteries last anywhere from 5 to 10 years. Assuming you'll have to purchase 2 new batteries every 5 years, costing $754, the expense allocated to each year will be $151. No other maintenance is required besides sharpening the mower blades, and assuming LandCare has the capacity to take care of that, the cost is negligible. Now for quality consideration. Is this equipment going to meet the standards of quality demanded by you and your clients? The reviews are mixed and biased. Ultimately, it's up to you and your clients to decide. Be transparent. You can approach them initially and say, hey, we're testing out some new battery-powered equipment in an attempt to go green. We want to make sure that the equipment is performing to your standards. If you notice any problem areas, please let us know, and we will address any issues right away. The worst case scenario is the equipment doesn't perform and you paid a small premium in an attempt to increase efficiency. The best case scenario is the equipment performs and you save lots of money in the long run. Payback period. How long is it going to take to recoup the initial investment? Dividing the $1,617 initial investment by the net annual cash flow of $3,036 leaves us with a payback period of 6.4 months. Given the advantages, feasibility, cost savings, and quick payback period of transitioning the crew to battery-powered equipment, we recommend the investment. That's it for our recommendations and our presentation. We hope you enjoyed watching.
And we would just like to reiterate how thankful we are for you all to let us participate in this competition. Cal Poly and our team are very grateful.